You've transmigrated into the life of a wealthy heir, receiving 600 million in monthly pocket money. Yet, what you cherish most is strolling in million-dollar slippers to enjoy 50-cent skewers at a street-side barbecue. Countless beautiful women pursue you relentlessly, but these blessings fill you with dread. You are painfully aware that the character you've inhabited is the ultimate villain in a modern urban drama. Even more terrifying, the protagonist, the Dragon King, harbors affection for none other than Xu Mu. In the original storyline, on the day of your engagement, you'd be sent flying by the Dragon King's kick, left as nothing more than a vegetable. To survive until the novel's conclusion, you've resolved to put an end to this deadly engagement. Today marks your grandfather's birthday banquet. According to the desk, the Su family is the last of the four great families of Su Hong, and you've played the role of Xu Mu's loyal dog, dedicating 3 years of your family's resources to win her favor, only to be met with cold indifference. In response, the Tan family elders took it upon themselves to push for the marriage between the two families. Upon learning this, the male leg, Yi Chen, crippled you at the banquet, and you died shortly thereafter. You have no desire to meet such a tragic fate. Glancing around the hall, your eyes soon land on Yi Chen, seated quietly in the corner, currently acting as Xu Mu's bodyguard. Your mind races. I need to break off this engagement immediately. Just then, Xu Mu approaches, her gaze dark and menacing as she sneers. I won't marry you. This engagement should be called off. Upon hearing these words, you nodded fervently, like a bobblehead, exclaiming, I agree, I agree. Perhaps your swift and eager response caught Xu Mu off guard, for she seemed momentarily stunned, as though she hadn't heard you correctly. At that very moment, a sarcastic voice echoed in her ears. Thank your ancestors for this. Now hurry up and alert with Yi Chen. Frowning slightly, Xu Mu glanced around, wondering who had spoken. The voice she heard was nearly identical to yours, and in fact, it was your voice. Only later would you come to realize that Xu Mu could actually hear your inner thoughts. Now, all you could think about was rushing to find the elders and breaking off this engagement. That way, Yi Chen would have no reason to target you. After all, the protagonist is always protected by his protagonist's halo, while you, as the villain, must avoid drawing his attention. Your plan was simple: maintain your image as a wealthy and handsome heir, lay low, and survive happily until the story's conclusion. As the two of you made your way to discuss the matter with the elders, you maintained a calm expression, but inwardly, you were brimming with joy, thinking, I must live a prosperous life until the novel's finale. The only regret was that the renowned beauty of Su Hong, Xu Mu, would ultimately fall to ruin after being with Yi Chen, dragging the Su family down with her. When the emergency alarm sounded once more, Xu Mu was certain the voice was unmistakably yours. Xu Mu, having fought his way to the top for years, relied not only on his looks but also on his exceptional intellect and talent. Thus, after quickly piecing everything together, a shadow of gloom flickered across his face. Yi Chen, the man who had recently become his bodyguard, was brought into his life when he had been cornered by a group of thugs, and Yi Chen had come to his rescue. Impressed by the man's skill, Xu Mu kept him at the Su family to serve as his protector. While Yi Chen had indeed been of great help since, the thought of marrying a mere bodyguard, risking the ruin of his family, was unthinkable. In that moment, Xu Mu began to feel a growing resistance toward Yi Chen. Soon, the two of you arrived at a study, where the elders of the Tang and Su families were deep in discussion about the arranged marriage. Without hesitation, you stepped forward and declared, I believe this is unsuitable. The faces in the room turned odd, for everyone in Su Hong knew you had pursued Xu Mu for a full 3 years. Yet here you were, suddenly proclaiming, a false melon is never sweet. I've been reflecting recently and realized that perhaps Xu Mu and I are not truly compatible. Marriage is a lifelong commitment, and the choice should ultimately rest with both parties. After speaking, a wave of relief washed over you, thinking that at least now, you wouldn't be beaten to death. However, your bold statement left the elders completely dumbfounded. Just then, Xu Mu's father, Xu Changshan, spoke up. Sha Yu, did that girl Mu force you into saying this? Don't worry, what she says doesn't matter today. You stood there, utterly stunned. Inwardly, you lamented, Uncle, you're really putting me through the ringer. No, Uncle Su, that's not a double quotes you are about to explain. But Xu Changshan waved his hand dismissively, saying, no need for words. I understand you. Then, Xu Changshan turned to his daughter, enraged. Mu, you tell me, how has Sha Yu treated you these past few years? In terms of status and looks, what's wrong with him? And yet you forced him to say such things. Truly ungrateful. Stunned, Sumi Yu stood there, bewildered. What do you mean? I forced him? This guy was practically celebrating in his head. Meanwhile, the sarcastic voice echoed once more in her ears. If you don't speak up now, I'm really going to be in deep trouble. Hurry up, or do you still want to run off with Yi Chen? Seeing you winking at her, Sumi Yu was suddenly incensed. Why should I elope with a bodyguard? Who does he think he is? And hearing that this guy was planning to find another girl to have fun with only fueled her anger. You've chased me for 3 years, and now you think you can change your heart so easily. In a moment of defiance, Sumi Yu steeled herself and declared, Dad, I didn't make him say that. I agree to the marriage. Her words left Su Changshan, who had been fuming, utterly dumbfounded. With a look of disbelief, the old man asked, Are you saying that from the heart? Sumi Yu nodded, her face tinged with a blush, biting her lip as she added, He has treated me very well. I was moved by his sincerity, but I would prefer to start with dating and take things slowly. Hearing this, Su Changshan beamed with a contented smile, and the elders in the room followed suit, their faces lighting up with approval. Only your expression showered, as if you had swallowed something unpleasant. You walked over to Sumi Yu, forcing a smile that was even more strained than a grimace, and said, Miyu, there's no need to pressure yourself. Su Changshan, hearing this, patted your shoulder kindly, and said, Miyu is just a bit cold by nature, not good at expressing herself. Don't think for a moment that she doesn't like you. Your face twitched slightly, while Sumi Yu, on the other hand, was hearing a string of exasperated complaints in her mind. Are you insane? We agreed to break off the engagement. Who wants to date you? Yi Chen is your true match. Hearing these inner thoughts, Sumi Yu's lips curled into a faint smile, a trace of amusement glinting in her eyes. Seeing your flustered expression, she actually found it rather entertaining, far more interesting than your usual sycophantic demeanor. At that moment, old Master Tong suddenly spunk up, since they seemed to be fond of each other. Let's go out and announce it. With that, the crowd chuckled and left the study, leaving you and Sumi Yu trailing behind. As you noticed the triumphant smile playing on her lips, you had the urge to unleash a flurry of punches on her face. Didn't we agree not to go through with the engagement? You muttered through gritted teeth. She replied sharply, but I was moved by your sincerity. The smile on Sumi Yu's lips grew even brighter, more intense. It was the first time you had ever seen her smile at you like that, and it made your heart skip a beat. Instinctively, you reached out to touch her forehead, wondering if she had lost her mind. If you're feeling unwell, you should really go to the hospital for a checkup. Marriage is no trivial matter, you need to think this through carefully. Sumi Yu didn't avoid your hand, calmly replying, I'm fine. I've thought it through. Panicking, you hurriedly said, but I don't want this. A forced union brings no sweetness. It's fine, as long as it quenches thirst. Sumi Yu responded, her smile growing even more radiant. You were left in utter despair, completely speechless. Why isn't she following the script? She must have lost her mind. This is going to get me killed for sure. Once again, the sarcastic voice echoed in Sumi Yu's mind, piquing her curiosity. Will what he says really come true? Returning to the hall with the elders, old Master Tong proudly announced, Dear friends and family, today we, the Tong family, have decided to form an alliance with the Su family. From this day forward, Sumi Yu will be half a granddaughter-in-law to the Tong family. As his words rang out, the hall erupted in thunderous applause, the members of the Su family beaming with joy. Meanwhile, in the corner, Yi Chen's face darkened instantly, a murderous aura radiating from him as he strode toward you with purpose. Sumi Yu was the woman he had set his sights on. Anyone who dares lay a finger on her will die. He's coming, and he's bringing his killing intent with him. On June today. As this internal monologue played out in your mind, Sumi Yu, hearing your thoughts, followed your gaze and indeed saw Yi Chen approaching with murderous intent. This left her slightly stunned, especially since he hadn't brought any bodyguards with him today. I did not consent to this marriage, Yi Chen roared angrily, stopping just 3 meters away, his face cold and furious. Instantly, all eyes in the room turned toward him. The guests present, most of whom were prominent figures in Su Han's elite circles, had no idea who Yi Chen was. Su Changshan's expression darkened as he spat. Who do you think you are? What gives you the right to interfere in the affairs of the Su family? A flash of murderous intent gleamed in Yi Chen's eyes. If this man weren't Sumi Yu's father, he would have already had his head rolling. After all, he was the Dragon King, a man who had sailed the seas and ruled with power. Even European nobility wouldn't dare speak to him like this. Fixing his gaze on the members of the Su family, he pointed a finger at them. The prestigious Su family, sacrificing a girl's happiness for the sake of family prosperity. Do you have no shame? Ha! Here it comes. Here it comes, classic speech time. Your inner voice mocked once again. According to the original storyline, Su Miyu had been forced into this marriage by her family, and in her darkest moment, it was the Dragon King, Yi Chen, who had saved her and taken her away. He broke free from the shackles of his heart, making her his sole source of solace. Thus, Su Miyu fell in love with Yi Chen. But at this moment, Su Miyu remained calm and composed, devoid of any emotion, neither moved nor surprised. After hearing your inner thoughts for so long, her mindset had completely shifted. Just then, the Tong family's head bodyguard, He Jing, rushed forward. According to the original storyline, he would be the first to make a move, and also the first to be killed. After his death, you would be next, so, in a panic, you quickly ran up to stop He Jing, urging him to hold off. It's my grandfather's birthday today, let's not ruin the peace, he pleaded. See, young Master Tong is still refined, not stooping to the level of such a brute. If it were me, I'd have already beaten him to death and thrown him to the dogs. I bet he's just here to steal young Master Chang's woman. Look at him, such a pauper. The onlookers began praising your restraint, all while taking the opportunity to throw shade at Yi Chen. Meanwhile, you were terrified. Why are you all shouting so loudly? Couldn't you be a bit more polite? If you provoke him, I'm the one who'll end up in a crematorium. Sure enough, after hearing these bystanders' remarks, Yi Chen's face darkened, his expression turning to one of fury as he glared at you with murderous intent. It's all your fault, you're the root cause of this. If it weren't for you pestering Miyu, none of this would be happening. Why are you glaring at me? It's not like I insulted you. I haven't even had anyone make a move. What more do you want? Under Yi Chen's intense stare, you felt an overwhelming sense of dread, your insides twisting painfully. Even if all of the Tong family's bodyguards joined forces, they wouldn't stand a chance against Yi Chen. All you could do was hope that this time, Yi Chen wouldn't target you again. Standing nearby, Su Miyu had been quietly listening the whole time, unable to suppress a sudden burst of laughter. Yi Chen, thinking that her laughter was in appreciation of his defense, responded with a crooked grin, his lips pulling into a rather disturbing arc. He strode over, took Su Miyu's hand, and declared, Miyu, as long as I'm here, no one will sacrifice your freedom in exchange for power. Whoever tries will die. Seeing this, you hastily took a few steps back, trying to conceal your relief. Good. Finally, the male and female leads are about to pair up and fly off together. Once they're gone, all be safe. In the original plot, you would have made a move with the bodyguards at this point. But now you held them all back, just waiting for Yi Chen to whisk Su Miyu away. But Su Miyu took 2 steps back, her face cold as she looked at Yi Chen and said, Are you insane? Having listened to your thoughts for so long, Su Miyu had come to understand the situation. It seemed that the world she found herself in was nothing more than a storybook. According to the normal plot, by now, she should have run off with this man. But the thought of becoming just another part of his harem filled her with disgust. Yi Chen, though initially stunned by Su Miyu's words, quickly regained his composure. Miyu, I know what you're afraid of, but trust me, as long as I'm here, nothing will happen to you. The Tong family is nothing. If we were abroad, a single command from me would summon 100,000 mercenaries to wipe the Tong family off the face of the earth. As he finished speaking, he cast a menacing glance in your direction. In your panic, fear was momentarily forgotten. You yelled, Are you out of your mind? What does this have to do with me? I've already told the bodyguards to stand down. What more do you want from me? And you, Su Miyu, you're a real piece of work. He's putting on quite the show just to protect you. At long last, Su Miyu spoke, her tone cold. Yi Chen, you are just a bodyguard for the Su family. As of today, you're fired. Please leave immediately. A trace of anger flickered across her stunningly beautiful face. Though her fury wasn't reserved for Yi Chen alone, it was also directed at you, the incessant mutterer. What's with all the nonsense? What, were you a machine gun in a past life? The more Su Miyu spoke, the more Yi Chen felt a strange sweetness in his heart, convinced that she was only putting on a harsh front to protect him. She cares for me, of course. The woman I, the Dragon King, have chosen would do this. His gaze softened, a few more traces of tenderness and affection filling his eyes as he looked at Su Miyu. His smile grew even more devilishly charming, and he confidently said, Miyu, I will never leave you. With me by your side, you needn't worry about anything. I will be your strongest shield. The members of the Tang family, upon hearing these words, the faces of the Tong family members were filled with fury, and soon Yu felt a shiver run down her spine, goosebumps rising from head to toe as Yi Chen's gaze, smoldering with desire, fixated on her like she was some divine beauty. This is the last time I'll ask, are you leaving or not? As the Dragon King, his possessiveness was overpowering. He would never allow his woman to remain in what he saw as a hellhole that was the Tang family. Meanwhile, the Su family was on the verge of erupting in rage. An enraged Su Changshan charged forward and shoved Yi Chen hard, but Yi Chen stood there like an unmovable mountain. In a fit of fury, Su Changshan threw a punch, striking Yi Chen squarely in the face, bellowing, "You witless dog, get lost and stop pestering my daughter. I have only one son-in-law, and that's Sha Yu. If you keep this up, the Su family will not spare you." The punch didn't do much damage, but its insult was undeniable. A dark and intense murderous intent flickered in Yi Chen's eyes. Yet, because Su Changshan was his father-in-law, he swallowed his anger, solemnly chanting the word endurance in his heart. As the Dragon King, the most important lesson was to master patience. With a cold expression, Yi Chen said, "Since I'm not welcome here, I will leave." As he turned to leave, his eyes filled with venom, glaring at you with deep resentment. This guy, he deliberately stayed out of it, letting the Su family deal with me. What cunning! He's clearly using the Su family to force Su Yu to submit. The humiliation I've suffered today, I'll make sure both he and the Tang family pay for it in blood. Remember this, Yu, Yi Chen said, his voice chilling. No matter what happens in the future, if you ever need me ... I will always be by your side, protecting you. With those parting words, Yi Chen strode away with large, determined steps. What a lunatic! What does any of this have to do with me? In my heart, I curse it, Su Yu. For heaven's sake, just go with your man and be done with it. And make it a high-speed exit, will you? Seeing the look Yi Chen threw at me as he left, I was fuming internally. Meanwhile, Su Yu was equally infuriated, having listened to me muttering incessantly for what felt like an eternity, calling Yi Chen her husband at every turn. Unable to bear it any longer, she marched up to me and planted a kiss on my face. It's just like kissing a dog, she thought. Luckily, my reflexes were sharp, and I quickly raised my hand to shield my face, causing her kiss to land on the back of my hand instead. Good heavens, what a vicious move. She really tried to kiss me. But thanks to my superior reflexes, I dodged it. My survival instincts were still intact. The two of us stood there, staring at each other in bewilderment. The guests, witnessing this absurd scene, erupted into laughter. At the entrance, Yi Chen, hearing the uproar, glanced back. His face twisted with fury. My woman ... kissing another man. The laughter of the guests only fueled his rage further. His fists clenched tightly, but in the end, he restrained himself from turning back to slaughter everyone. He knew this must have been Su Yu's way of enduring humiliation, her method of protecting him from the Tang family. After all, with his identity and power as the Dragon King, he didn't fully understand, but now was not the time to reveal his true identity. He still needed to remain in the shadows, slowly uncovering the truth behind the massacre of his family. Yi Chen took a deep breath, suppressing his rage as he left the Tang family estate. To him, the Tang family no longer had any reason to exist. As the banquet concluded, members of the Su family hurried over to apologize to the Tang family. Meanwhile, I sat on the sofa, my expression one of utter defeat, contemplating life. Why has today's storyline deviated so much from what was expected? Something was clearly off with Su Yu today. Her intelligence seemed to have taken a significant leap. In order to protect her Dragon King, she had even gone to such great lengths of sacrifice. Seeing the shock and fury in Yi Chen's eyes as he left, I knew he wouldn't let me off easily. Then, I heard the system's voice. Congratulations, host, for surviving the first chapter of the plot. Reward, one Lamborghini Veneno. The vehicle has been placed in your garage. Please check it out. A car key appeared in my pocket. I pulled it out and glanced at it, at a loss for words. What the hell? Aside from money, all I have is more money. What's the point of giving me this thing now? I was beginning to suspect that the plot had completely fallen apart. Still, managing to survive the birthday banquet was a small victory in itself. Just then, Yi Jing, the head bodyguard, came running over. Young Master Tang, I know you're still upset about what happened today, but don't worry. I've already sent people to deal with that brat named Yi. Didn't you say he's some kind of expert? Well, I just called over 30 men. This time, we'll make sure he pays the price. I gasped in horror. Good grief, you really don't want me to live to see the end of this, do you? Gritting my teeth, I quickly ordered, called him back immediately. No one is to lay a finger on him. Understood. Jing swiftly pulled out his phone, dialing to recall the man, though he seemed a little confused. Have they been called back? Yes, they're on their way. Only then did I exhale in relief. Damn, I almost got screwed over again. I cast a careful glance at Jing, scrutinizing him from every angle. This guy, no matter how you look at him up, down, sideways, he's the picture-perfect loyal traitor. This one can't be kept around. Captain he, I said with a thoughtful expression. They say that only in fierce winds do you see the strength of the grass, and only in turbulent times does one's character shine. I'm quite pleased with your performance today, but I feel that someone with your talents is wasted as a mere bodyguard captain. Jing's face lit up with surprise and gratitude. Me, his heart swelled with emotion. Young Master Chong is far too generous, indeed. Starting tomorrow, you'll head to our mining company in South Africa. I'll make the arrangements shortly. South Africa? Jing was taken aback. Yes, you'll go tomorrow. And don't worry, once you're there, your salary and bonuses will triple. We'll cover for a few years, and we'll talk about the future. I gave his shoulder a firm pat, sealing the deal. Thank you, young Master Chong, for your trust. I'll give it my all. Tears welled up in Jing's eyes, his heart overflowing with gratitude. After profusely thanking me, he hurried off to pack his things. Watching him go, I couldn't help but feel deeply satisfied. Problem solved, one traitor sent off to Africa, and now there's no way for him to stir up trouble and draw hatred onto me. I glanced down at the Rolex on my wrist. The life of the wealthy is simple, understated, and utterly dull. Grabbing the gift I left on the table, I headed toward the garage. Soon, a silver Lamborghini Veneno roared out of the Tong family estate. The Wang family's old mansion was nestled in the outskirts, and after about an hour of driving, I finally arrived. Just as I approached the entrance of the living room, a tall, elegant woman in a kippah stepped out, and we collided head-on. Fortunately, certain ample attributes of hers provided a soft landing, sparing us both from any real impact. Feeling the astounding elasticity against my chest, I almost let out a startled expletive. My gaze instinctively drifted over the woman. She was dressed in a white laurel-embroidered kippah, her long black hair cascading over her shoulders. Beneath her flawless, angelic face lay a body sculpted like a temptress, every curve pronounced. In fact, her figure was so voluptuous that her kippah seemed strained to its very limits. If this were a game, surely the referee would call a foul for carrying the ball. Hearing that thought, the kippah-clad beauty widened her eyes and stared at me. What did you just say? She seemed unable to believe her ears. Did I really have the audacity to speak to her like that? I didn't say anything, I replied, confused, as I rubbed my nose. Wang Yixu, who hadn't seen my lips move, instinctively assumed she must have imagined it. With a calm expression, she said, "You must have misheard. What brings you to my home?" "I came to visit the old master," I replied, lifting the gift in my hand. The atmosphere suddenly became awkward. The woman before me was Wang Yixu, the eldest daughter of the Wang family, my ex-girlfriend, and the second female lead in this story. Because the Tong and Wang families had been close for generations, we had known each other since childhood. We attended the same university, and in our freshman year, we dated for 2 months. But then, a campus beauty queen from a neighboring dorm started clinging to me, and Wang Yixu misunderstood, leading to our hasty breakup. After that, I earned a reputation as Sihang's most infamous simp, while Wang Yixu, after graduating, returned to her family's business and remained single ever since. "My grandfather is still resting," she said. "Why don't you sit down and have some tea while you wait?" With a courteous smile, Wang Yixu set about making tea for me, though a trace of bitterness flickered in her eyes. Since our breakup, we had hardly stayed in touch. It was only at last month's class reunion that she learned she had misunderstood the situation all those years ago. She regretted it deeply, for she had never truly moved on. But by now, it was far too late. She had already heard about the engagement between the Tong and Su families. Meanwhile, I wasn't dwelling on such matters, my focus entirely on watching Wang Yixu as she prepared the tea. Her movements as she prepared tea were nothing short of a visual delight, made all the more graceful by the perfectly fitting kippah she wore. In her hands, the simple act of making tea transformed into an art form. Tis TSK, even brewing tea looks this good. Su Yu as the so-called top beauty, what a joy. If you ask me, Wang Yixu is the true beauty of Su Hong. Just look at her elegance. Her tea-making skills Su Yu can't even compare. All she does is soak every day, and I don't owe her anything. Sooner or later, I need to figure out a way to break off this ridiculous engagement. As my inner rant continued, Wang Yixu's hand trembled, and she nearly dropped the teacup. Her eyes widened in disbelief as she stared at me. There was no mistaking it, this had to be Xiaoyu's voice. Even though I hadn't spoken, she had heard everything clearly. "Are you alright?" I asked casually, noticing her sudden misstep. "I'm fine," Wang Yixu replied, shaking her head, though a wave of excitement surged within her. "It seems like I can hear his thoughts. And he thinks I'm the true beauty." Her heart leapt. This guy clearly hasn't forgotten about me all these years, despite pretending to be Sumyu's lapdog. With newfound confidence, she deliberately asked, "I heard you got engaged to Sumyu today. Congratulations, you must be thrilled to have finally gotten what you wanted." "That's a long story," I muttered, waving it off. "Marriage, that's never going to happen. I'll never admit to this. Not in a million years. Marriage, what a joke, it's all Sumyu's nonsense. That crazy woman is in love with someone else, and she's just using me as a shield to put on some ridiculous show." Hearing my inner tirade, Wang Yixu's mood brightened even further. She deliberately sat closer to me, her voice soft as she asked, "What's going on between you two? Relationship problems?" "We don't have a relationship. We're just friends. Why are you asking?" I sensed something and frowned slightly. As an experienced villain, I knew that the best way to avoid getting caught in the web of these female leads, whether she's the first or the 99th, was to steer clear of them altogether. My tone was cold, but my inner thoughts betrayed me. What the hell? Why did she sit so close? Her leg is touching mine. She smells so good. Is that her natural scent? And her legs? Damn, they're so white. No. Stop. Just focus. Fine. Her outfit looked good too. Wang Yixu, sensing my conflicting thoughts, felt both pleased and a little shy. He never complimented me this much when we were dating. A playful smile tugged at her lips as she leaned in closer, her voice even softer. "It's nothing, really. I just wanted to apologize. I misunderstood you back then. It doesn't matter. I don't care anymore," I replied, feigning indifference. "Why is she getting so close?" I thought irritably, trying to maintain a scowl. "Can't she see I'm already pulling a sharp face? Why wouldn't you just back off already? Have you no dignity left as a heroine in this kind of story?" But on closer inspection, she really is adorable. Her skin is flawless, her eyes are stunning, and her figure and grace, well, they're simply unmatched. Just stop getting any closer. I really can't handle this anymore.